Kara Familette. I'm part of the Chauncey F. Lufkin Foundation and Family Office. I'm based here in Naples. Chauncey and his wife Sandy, who you will hear tomorrow on a panel, are based in Palm Beach. Yeah, it is a really rare appearance. I'm really pleased to welcome my brother-in-law, Chauncey Lufkin, who is the principal of our family office. You know, in our VC panel or breakout, I think Tyler mentioned that one of the biggest trends we're going to see is planet repair as far as investment and as well as philanthropy. I can tell you a little bit about Chauncey. Chauncey is a lifelong golfer and more than anything, sailor. He's a lover of the oceans, of the environment. Really, nature feeds his soul. And so, professionally, if you want to know about that, professionally he's worked with Franklin Templeton. He's managed over $4 billion in assets for Franklin Templeton before going on to start his own firm called Lufkin Advisors. With his family office, Chauncey is an active, early stage, often anchor investor in things like blockchain and artificial intelligence, very much on the frontier technology space. But it's his philanthropy that has him combing the globe for the real geniuses doing the real intensive work out there. And I guess, as you can say, like a river flows surely to the sea, that's kind of what led him to Alfie. And Alfie has a very interesting background. Well, he is one of the true geniuses I know. He's one of the most creative people I know. He's a Zoroastrian from a working class family in the UK. He got a full scholarship and earned his doctorate at the University of St. Andrews. He spent 15 years building high-performing teams for so many of the world's largest financial banks. But really, it was the horror of 9/11 that kind of took him back down to earth. And also the influence of a writer, the daughter of the playwright of The Elephant Man. And so he went and did a pivot from finance to social impact. Today, the cornerstone of what Alfie is doing is called Bioman. It is a mega project. It's a superhero franchise. It goes across multiple platforms, including Web3. It will be a movie eventually. It transverses the metaverse in very delightful ways. And so, without further ado, sharing their personal perspectives on philanthropy and impact and maximizing impact and the tools of the trade, from grant to pre-seed, etc. And more importantly, what it really means to be a human in the 21st century. Everybody, please welcome Chauncey and Alfie.
Thanks, Kara. So this is an exciting project for me to work with Alfie. But just a little background on our foundation. Just a little background on our foundation. I started the foundation in 2006. The objective of the foundation is really climate change, healthcare, and education. We found ways to contribute to the Millikan Institute and Robin Hood for healthcare and education, but we were looking for a way to invest back into for climate change, and Alfie has provided that for us. So I met Alfie in the fourth quarter of 2001. Kara and Sandra had mentioned to me that this year we should do a grant for Alfie, and I thought, all right, well, let me look at that. And I looked at his resume and I thought, wow, this guy's out of his league. He's trying to, everybody wants to write a book and make a movie, but a game and a TV show. And I thought, well, this might work. We'll give a grant, see how it works. And we gave him a 6-figure grant, end of 2021. And the plan was to come out with a movie by April or May of 2022. Come out with an animated feature, Bioman animated feature. Of course, the market was in trouble, and I didn't hear from Alfie for a couple months. But I got a call in the summer, 2022, and we reconnected in the summer, and explained to me what was going on in the market. I said, yeah, I know what's going on in the market. I see it my firsthand. And we negotiated a pre-seed deal. So we'd already had given him the grant through the foundation, and now we were going to make an investment through our registered investment advisor, through Leffman Advisors. And we negotiated a pre-seed deal in September, roughly, of the third quarter of 2022. And that's basically where we are today. We gave Alfie the ability to, it was a tough market for raising money, right? The ability to get to 2023. So, anyways, what I thought I would do today is ask Alfie a few questions, and then he'll make a presentation on the prototype for the game. So, Alfie. Sure.
Happy to sit next to you.
Hey, Chelsea.
Why don't you start with going a little bit about your professional background and how that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I started out in education, so I was on a career track to be a quantum physicist, and I got a full scholarship from St. Andrews. I did my undergrad there, and was really inspired by science, and I didn't actually finish my PhD. I ended up figuring out, given the stress and the hassle that the education system was giving me, I might as well try and make some money on Wall Street. So I ended up deploying weapons of mass financial destruction on Wall Street and around the world for about 15 years. So I was in Treasury capital markets, and I deployed a number of big systems for the biggest banks in the world: HSBC, Bank of New York, World Bank, all of the usual suspects, all of the kind of blue chip. And so that taught me a lot about building teams, about building systems, and about executing against a plan. And I think, as I pivoted into entrepreneurship, those skills were valuable. A lot of entrepreneurs don't have the institutional experience that I had. And so being able to run projects and build teams and work with partners and to just be the I was going to say, be the hammer, if you will, and just get stuff done. And so that's something that I have in my wheelhouse. And then I pivoted into entertainment when I realized that, hey, one, I'm not really creating any value for society and culture doing what I was doing, making folks like you a lot of money, right? So I was like, okay, how do I actually use the skills that I have to make a difference? And in a former life, I'd arrived in New York a few days before 9/11, and saw everything, and then met a gal. Her father wrote The Elephant Man. She got me writing, and so she got my first film optioned by an award-winning European director. But I realized, as a screenwriter, as a creator, and this was back in the early 2000s, there wasn't much money involved. I mean, you'd make a check for a film, and that would be it. And then it was only years later when Web3 came out. I was like, oh, okay, here's an opportunity as a creator to make bank, quite frankly. And so we started off, I wrote the movie originally, and I had an Oscar-winning team around the film, Bioman, and it was a big budget film, and I was struggling. It was I actually pitched the former CEO of Marvel. I had lunch with him, and I was told, Alfie, don't tell him, just say big budget, don't tell him how much it's going to cost. And I thought, okay, I'm having a good conversation, I'll mention the number, and it was a $275 million film. And he's actually become very good friends and very supportive, and he taught me the Marvel playbook on how to build a Marvel-sized franchise. So I'm like, okay, let's take the Marvel playbook and take this IP called Bioman, and let's use that hub and spoke model. So originally it was just a film, and I was trying to get someone else to produce it, and it was a big budget. So I'm like, okay, let me take responsibility for this myself. But let's focus on the game. I came out with the book after the movie. It was listed as one of the best books of the year. But again, I was like, okay, how do I actually make money out of this? I mean, book sales, movie, but gaming was just blowing up. So I pivoted into gaming, and the first game I designed it with the guy who designed Farmville. And so the idea was, you take Farmville, you make it regenerative. So you take all the permaculture, you take all the good things we're learning about forest farming, and you make a whole metaverse out of this. So so I designed that out with the guy who designed Farmville, and we incorporated blockchain in it. Blockchain blew up, and the challenge for me is that this was such a vast, trying to build a metaverse and launch a metaverse, that's a big challenge. So we decided to do something a little smaller, and so that's kind of, fortunately, oh, you're not seeing it, but there was the dance battle game that you saw. So the characters, if you're familiar with NFTs, there's this whole kind of idea of minting NFTs that you actually own. And so this next generation of games, if you hit the dance arena, I don't know if you can see the mouse on the screen, but yeah. So I don't know if you can see that screen. So the characters you're seeing there are actually human-animal hybrids, and they're featured in the story world. But they're based on species that are endangered right now. So if you look at the World Wildlife Extinction List, there's a lot of animals on there, unfortunately. So part of the mission of this game is to raise awareness around the biodiversity crisis. So we first designed this farming metaverse, but now we're doing this smaller game to just really cut our teeth, build, and also get cash flow. Can we create a profitable business? And so using NFTs, and so that's what this game is going to be doing for us. It comes out in a few months, and then we're going to build out the Bioverse, the Bioman Bioverse, and we're going to be coordinating the release of the Bioverse with some of the content, and we're looking at doing a feature-length animation. I'm working with the largest animation studio in India, Toons Media Group, to do that. So we do have this Marvel-sized vision, but around the, I think Tyler had a great, repairing the planet. I think that's basically what we're trying to gamify that. And so we have this strategy, and we have partners that, if you know, Kiss the Ground, Save the Soil, Sadhguru's team, around raising awareness and also activating the gamers in real world activity and using technology like augmented reality, gamifying the urban regeneration of our communities and getting people reconnecting with the natural world through the food system, through community gardens, victory gardens. Second World War, 40% of the fresh produce in this country was done through community gardens, right? And so why can't we use that again? Food security globally is a challenge, and so so there's a number of problems where we're looking to solve, but the primary one is just to get people engaged, give them hope that they can be part of the solution, and games is one way to do that. So yeah, I think I probably covered a couple of questions there, Chauncey.
You went through all of them.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So we have this major strategy, and one of the insights I had was this idea of learned helplessness. There's a lot of eco-anxiety amongst youth of today because of they're getting all this negative news, but they're not feeling empowered to be the solution. So what the opportunity I see is, not only is there a blue ocean around climate games, I think that again, Tyler, you were saying that this is the biggest opportunity we have. Is planet repair and games. If you can use games to actually gamify the restoration and regeneration of nature, you've got 3 billion gamers out there. If each of them did a little bit for the planet every day, the cumulative effects of 3 billion people, each maybe a few ounces, a few pounds of carbon a day, they offset, that can accumulate at scale. And this is, if you think about the impact think about how well known Spider-Man is known, and you now have a superhero for nature. I think that is where you can get real scalable impact, raise awareness, and also shift culture. We don't have stories to help us reconnect with the natural world, and so one of the things we're doing through the Bioman storytelling franchises is to give people stories that help them understand how they are connected with the natural world. And so if we understand that relationship, then we will naturally defend nature. We will naturally engage in behaviors that are restorative and regenerative towards the planetary ecosystem. So part of the mission is, yes, give them the games, but also create these narratives, these story worlds that people can really engage with And you know, as a company, we are for profit. You know, Spider-Man makes $1 billion a year in licensing. Some of these games, my comps are making $20 million a month in recurring revenue, and so there is this great opportunity to do good as well as make bank as well. So I think that combination of impact and investment and elements of philanthropy, we are looking at sponsoring these real-world community gardens with our partners to create a scalable platform for planetary restoration.
Yeah. So one of the things I will say, every conference that I go to, everybody knows Alfie, and everybody wants to collaborate with Alfie. You spend so much time in space, and so
yes,
talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been the reason why I met Chauncey is because the sister and Cara, we met through a family office network in New York, and I would go. Friend Arthur, he would allow me to sit in. I mean, I was an investor, but he would, and so I would learn from the investors, asking investees, raising money questions. So I understand what the investors are after. I also understand what a good business model is, because I've seen every week I would attend a family office pitch event, and I would see what was successful and what worked, what didn't work from an investor perspective. What are the questions that the investors are asking? And so one thing I made sure is that I was ready for those questions, and also in terms of network building. You know, I've had the good fortune of being in New York for a number of years, going to these family office, and so I've got some significant family offices that are. And the interesting thing with family offices, and this is where it's very rare for a family office to actually lead around and come in early. So it's interesting. What I'd be interested in terms of your perspective. Those opportunities that are kind of early stage, what's kind of the filter that you have around those? Yeah,
so as far as early stage, I got to be honest, we haven't done that many early stage deals. Our sort of sweet spot is the A and the B rounds. We tend to not go beyond that. But so you are actually our first early stage.
Wonderful. Well, I think hopefully there'll be more opportunities for you to invest in, and I think one of the points people are making is that you invest in the jockey, right? And I think with not to blow my own trumpet, but because I did have that corporate experience, and I know I've been through a lot of cycles. I mean, I was in Hong Kong during 2008 during the crisis, and learned a lot about managing a business under stress. And manage it. And we were booming. I mean, I was running professional services for China and Hong Kong, Taiwan, and we were booming just because we had a nice pipeline. We were able to execute, and I had a team that was able to implement, and we had a great reputation. So having that and then applying that to what we're doing now, and being able to leverage partners to enable us to scale fast as well. That's another thing I've seen entrepreneurs do. They're trying to build out teams and actually hire and build teams rather than use partners to do the initial build out and manage the operating costs that way. And I've seen a lot of companies collapse because they've been trying to they've got staff on the books, and it's very painful letting go of staff. Yeah, please. Yeah.
So what about maybe quickly talk about the developers that you want to show?
Absolutely, yeah. So I got lucky. My friends at Polygon introduced me to a team in Vietnam, and they're great. I mean, and they onshore it would be like $150, $200 an hour. These guys are $18 an hour, and they're delivering world class. So if anyone's looking for offshore developers, I'm happy to introduce this guys.
So stay here, because we want to sort of like get an expansive view, because you've got families can invest in through their foundation side, through for-profit side. We want to see more of that in a mindful, intentional way. But I want to talk about, I guess you're representing you and Brittany. You're representing the you and Brittany crowd. Back to the Denison Mafia. We have another guilty as charged, but we've been talking about philanthropy from a lot of aspects. I think you touch a lot of it. Like you're like you could cross all of it if we could do it right. So why don't you just introduce yourself, Sarah, and then Maren on the NextGen side.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Trubridge. As Mark said, I went to Denison. I owe everything to Mark Sainer. Let's start by saying that. I want to recognize Brittany Flatley, who said, stand up, Brittany. Okay. She's standing, good. Okay, so I started an ecosystem called EdLinks, and we talk about educating the new humanity. And it's an ecosystem that has a nonprofit and foundation and a for-profit arm. And one of the things that I want to just share, I'm going to just put a little teaser out there, because thank you to Mark Sainer and Mark Lepresti. I will be talking more about the foundation specifically tomorrow at 7 on a yacht. But luckily, like I said, it won't be moving, so no one's going to get seasick. But what I want to just share is I have a very, very strong background in education. There are a lot of people that I know here from 361 who are still trying to figure me out. And what I'll be doing tomorrow is talking more about who I am, what my background is, and the foundation. But I just want to plant this seed. For those of you who are in the financial world, one of the things that Brittany and I talk about in our foundation, which is called ETNH Foundation, Educating the New Humanity Foundation. And what we talk about is supporting people to be great because they already know what they do. So what we are looking at, just as those of you in the financial world, why would someone give you their money versus invest on their own? Because you're a better steward of the funds, you know the landscape. That's what Brittany and I say with respect to why would someone give to a foundation that houses a number of organizations versus giving directly to them. And what we say is because we are better stewards, and the foundations that are in our sphere of influence have been really curated. For instance, one of our founding members is Peace Jam, and what I can say about that is their board of directors are 14 Nobel Peace Laureates, and they're in our ecosystem. The goal of our foundation is to steward the funds, give people $1 million, give them the organization's big bucks, not the 5,000, not the 10,000. We have organizations, human trafficking, we have organizations that deal with so many different aspects of educating the new humanity. We are asking for investments in the foundation. You get a great tax write-off, and then we are giving $1 million to a foundation and say, go be great, because you know what to do. So that's a little tidbit, and like I said, for those of you who may be interested in attending the function tomorrow night, just track me down or track Brittany down, and we can, because I know it's going to, there's a limit to how many people are going to be able to go, so just track us down. Thank you very much, and Brittany and I are totally available to talk more.
Let Sarah talk. All right, next, well, by the way, just quick segue, because you mentioned, what's the jam company? What the jam? Peace Jam. Well, we got traffic jam. So talk about it real quick.
Okay, well, I'm going to be very, very brief. Yes, I do. Hey, my name is Bo. And if Alicia Keys was standing next to me, if Bruce Springsteen was standing next to me, if Lady Gaga was standing next to me, likely you would be paying a little more attention. And that's what we're all about. So I cut my teeth at Sony Music, Sony Entertainment, supporting the chairman of Sony in Tokyo for 15 years. I've been in the nonprofit space for now another 15 years. Connected with human trafficking out of Thailand in 2007. And then in 2015, I created Traffic Jam Live, which is music. Live music. How many remember Live Aid? Yeah. Live Earth. Farm Aid. Global Citizen. A global citizen. Good, love it. That's what Traffic Jam is about. Leveraging celebrities, A-list headliner entertainers, to just draw in eyeballs. We produced 3 concerts so far. Our biggest entertainer was Jose Feliciano, and we reached 10,000 people. We need to reach 1 million people. 1 million eyeballs, 1 million ears. And that's what Traffic Jam Live is after. It has taken us 8 years to try to figure out how to afford this. As you know, it is super expensive. If you look at Global Citizen's annual report, it's millions of dollars to produce those concerts. They don't perform for free. We are actually producing original songs as NFTs where an investor can buy the rights to these songs that are then later sold off. I'm going to leave it at that. Well, Mark asked for a little music entertainment. We talked about concerts, but concerts are expensive. But we do have some music coming tonight, and I printed off some karaoke. I love karaoke. And if you want to perform some songs with the performer after dessert, do that. I've got the lyrics. We'll let it rip. But the last thing I'll say, is it's taken a long time to iterate through this process and how do you make this work. And we have come up with a way to create a return on investment for those that invest into this. It's not just nonprofit, there's for-profit opportunities, because we need that money, and I'll leave it at that. Traffic Jam Live.
So, Mark Lopresti, I don't know where you are. You were singing last night, some Italian song. You were. No, you were. And you're going to sing tonight. Okay, the NextGen perspective. Granddaughter of an interesting entrepreneur who actually was a partner with Houdini. So.
Thank you so much, Mark. Beautiful, thank you. Yes, hello everyone. So happy to be here with you all. Thank you so much, Mark, for the invitation. This is such a special gathering, and it's such a joy and an honor to be included, especially in this lineup of such luminaries. I'm honored and humbled, and thank you all for your amazing work in the world. It truly takes a team to make this happen and to create a massive positive ripple of positive impact in the world. And it's so nice to be here with so many like-minded, like-hearted, beautiful people. So thank you so much. And my name is Marian Ryan Soreth. I'm so happy to be here representing the NextGen perspective. I am very honored and blessed to be a NextGen, and my great-grandfather, just a little bit about me and my background. My great-grandfather was a Jewish refugee from Russia and the Ukraine, came over with his family and through Ellis Island and settled in the Midwest. And he was very inspired by magic and travel, and so he joined the circus. And he was traveling throughout the U.S. and Canada and Mexico, and he was a locksmith by trade. And so he discovered that not all locks are created equal, and so he sought to design a lock that could provide equality and security for everyone. And so during the Great Depression, he held up in a beer factory with a couple of friends and had this theory that if you synergized and you stacked this scrap metal on top of each other and then you laminated it, that it was as strong as a bank safe. And it turned out that he was correct. And so he patented this lock, and then his buddy from the circus heard about this and he said, hey, I heard you have a lock that we can use in our magic tricks. And he said, yes. And so there then began the legend of my great-grandfather, Harry Sorath, traveling with Harry Houdini, who popularized the master lock and showed the master lock all over the world. And my grandfather, there's so many amazing stories about my great-grandfather. He started a factory for master lock in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and hired women and people of all colors to work together and to co-create magic in the locks. And my grandfather built this company and scaled it into a global company, so that now everywhere I am in the world, everywhere I travel, I see master locks and everyone knows master lock. You know, and this is a beautiful, beautiful legacy that I honor deeply. And for me as a next gen, you know, it's very important for me to honor my great-grandfather, my great-grandmother, my family, my grandfather who built and scaled Master Lock into a global company and upheld the morals and values of my great-grandfather with joy and equality and security for everyone. And my father actually was he was poised to take over the family company, and he chose a career in music. And before he left Master Lock, he said, these locks need to be rainbow because everyone deserves to have a Master Lock in the color that they love. And so this is very beautiful family legacy, and it very much, when I think about myself and the work that I do in the world and as a next gen, this very much inspires what I do. And so I'm very honored and blessed to speak with next gen communities and at family office spaces about what is ours to do, you know, as next gens, where do we come from? And this is one side of my family, and the other side of my family is quite extraordinary as well. And really informs and guides and inspires the companies that I am creating and that I'm aligned with, and the work that I do with regenerative agriculture, regenerative real estate, and creating the festivals and the earth kisses. You know, my other grandfather, I don't know if you know this yet, my other grandfather, my mother's father, had a dream. And when he woke up from the dream, he drew a drawing, and he shared this with his friend Tom Kelly, and he said, what do you think that this is? And his friend said, this is what lands on the moon. And my grandfather, my mother's father, and Tom Kelly designed the lunar module. My grandfather was the chief of design, and he hired the whole team to do the lunar landing. And so when I think about this moment that we're in on Earth, and I think about the way that the overview effect, which if you don't know, it's when the entire world looked at the moon, looked at the Earth from the moon together. It was this moment where all of humanity tuned in together and saw the Earth as our home. And we are all here on this earth as our home. And it's our responsibility to take care of it, to take care of her together, and to do so in a way that inspires everyone to move into positive action. You know, there's a lot of doom and gloom around climate and, you know, this moment that we're in. You know, and I'm so happy that there are many of us that are focused on the inspiring parts. You know, how can we come together, as the Beatles shared, across the universe, and imagine a world where we all thrive? And it's all about what is ours to do. You know, I am very, very honored and blessed to be leading the companies that I am, Lightspace and Caravana Earth. Lightspace is connecting regenerative real estate properties across the world and is a key to the world. And Caravana is the Earth Kiss that is the moonshot of this generation. And I'm happy to speak about them individually. And for the purposes of this panel, I'm very honored and delighted to be collaborating with Mark and with 361 to inspire next gens to get more involved in the family office space, to get more inspired, and to really all think about what is ours to do. You know, how are we honoring our family legacy? How are we honoring our family wealth? How are we the best stewards of this wealth for ourselves and for the next 7 generations and beyond? Because, perfect. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Our last speaker, speaking of 7 generations, another NextGen, Consuelo Vanderbilt. You mentioned the creative economy or creative spirits. So, right before we break out, Consuelo is going to talk about the nexus of the creative economy and technology and the like.
Hi guys, how are you? Thank you. Hi everyone, how are you? Hello. Hello and hello and hello. Thank you so much for having me. And hello everyone. And it's been amazing to be here so far and to listen to all of you, and you're so inspiring. So yes, I too, family generation. I am a 7th generation of that wonderful man of Mr. Cornelius Vanderbilt. And so I am trying to build my own legacy. I've been a singer-songwriter my whole life, and I was signed to a major label in the UK called Sanctuary Records. And Sanctuary actually was the foundation of, it started off with Iron Maiden's publishing. And I don't know if anyone knows that, but so when we talked about the creative economy and kind of what that all looks like, that actually built the foundation of the entire label. So it's really interesting kind of what music can do. So in that, I had the wonderful gift of touring and working with extraordinary creatives around the world, dancers, musicians, actors. And in that amazing process, one of the things in the freelance community, just like in whether finance, is who you know, and right. And when you lose talent, what do you do? So we have this wonderful thing called agents and managers, right, that have to go and have to navigate and find this talent. So I started looking at this, I'm like, oh my God, this is really one of those things. Could we not build a better mousetrap? So the kind of birth of Soho Muse happened by really something that I know that I needed myself and a lot of other creatives on this planet really needed. Soho Muse was really built by creatives for creatives. So as an example, the chairman of the company, Rick McCallum, who was George Lucas's producing partner for over 25 years and built Star Wars, lost 4 editors in real time. And anyone who's ever watched films would know that the editors are the most important people on this planet, right? Yes. So when you lose an editor, you could really lose the entire film. So again, trying to look at that, like being able to build a trusted network. I want to find an Adobe editor in Los Angeles, and to actually find that, building a blockchain component, which is also another side to this, where you can actually create a smart digital contract. The agents, the managers, everyone's taken care of, and it's fully transparent. So really when we talk about this creative economy and about transparency, which I think we've all been really discussing today too, how incredibly important that is. And I just want to give you a little data points because that's what we do. And I've got my little spectacles. So, yes, hello. That's right. Well, you have to laugh, come on, right? We can't all be this serious at all times, right? Thank you very much, and thank you very much. So, the creative economy right now is 2.35 trillion per year. Can you believe that? With the T. Over 50 million workers. Is that extraordinary? All right, and I want to tell you about a little bit about the blockchain, blockchain technology could boost global GDP by 1.76 trillion by 2030. Who knew? Did you know? That's what I'm saying. So, there are so many different sectors of where and especially, my God, since what happened with the pandemic, of all these different extraordinary creative sectors, right? Art, music, fashion, that have been able to come out of this and have done unbelievably well. One of the things that we did, so my company, Soho Muse, we have 3 tiers. Our younger tier is really helping these younger students, 14 and upwards, giving them an opportunity to learn about connections, learn about collaborating, and to be inspired by their mentors. So in our creative working professionals. We built a competition. We had 16 schools participate, those 16 states. And the winner and the 2 runner-ups, we built literally fashion lines for these students. Our main Soho Muse designers actually helped to mentor them, and we built e-commerce stores for them, and then we helped to sell them into retail. Totally different than Project Runway, giving these kids a total opportunity to actually be nurtured. So we're working right now with a company called Transact, which is a $1 billion credit card company. They're in 1,500 schools, and doing something different. So when we talk about the creative economy, right, it's really about building the infrastructure of helping these young kids, mentoring them, giving them internship opportunities, giving them a foundation and a platform to be the best of themselves. I use this example a lot. If you can have a mentor, that can change the trajectory of your life. As a singer-songwriter, right, I was a young girl, which I'm still a young girl. Nope, excuse me, she just laughed. That's right, very young. But as a 21-year-old me, yeah, that's right, smile. It was really hard navigating that world. And if I had the help and the support to really being able to find that, my God, my life would have been very different. And I want to be able to give that opportunity, and I want other people to be able to give that opportunity. And there's so many schools that do not have that infrastructure, and I want to be able to show, God, if we can do that, what an amazing world and an amazing change that we'd be able to do. And a lot of people in the finance world, family office, venture capital, are terrified of the creative industry. They're like, it seems so flighty. I don't know what we want to do this. And I get that. I do. But you know what? You love entertainment. We all need it. It's pretty exciting. You don't want to live in a dull, boring world, right? And you want to make change. So I say come over to the dark side. We're a lot of fun. So anyway, that's, and I don't want to sit and give you data points. That's no fun. I've got total fact-finding, data things if you ever want to know. But my name is Consuela Vanderbilt Costin. My company is called Soho Muse, if anyone wants to know more about this world. And thank you, Mark, for having me.
So we're going to do something a little different. By the way, my daughter said, how did you cut your hand? I don't know how, but I was FaceTime with my daughter. But we were going to do round tables, but I just loved hearing these stories, and I just let it go a little bit. And now it's sort of tough, the food's being brought out. But let's just take a moment while you're all here to think about and just interact real quick, just in this setting. Philanthropy and impact, we have to do better. The world has to do better at this. Blockchain, this 3.0, 4.0, we have to do better. You have to get together, but I need co-architects to think of, like, whether it's, and educating the new humanity, bringing the NextGen energy, right? Trying to optimizing that. They need mentors. The metaverse. We were talking about that as it relates to, there's a poor profit. Who was the NFL players? Like, if you're like the 90% of the NFL players, you're not making a lot of money, but you can be great brand ambassadors, and you can be in the metaverse. So we're trying to merge the for-profit and the profit and the philanthropic world. But anyway, setting the stage. Did anyone want to be part of our Impact Summit in New York? It's our 6th, March 22nd, 23rd. Because we always have like you're in? Are we going to do a concert, Bo? Yeah, another concert. You got it, Mark. All right, done. Because instead of just doing a panel, right, you really need to go deep. And then we really need to go deep on, like MJ, mental health, right? We need to go deep on this stuff. And you can't just scratch the surface. but I just ask everybody that my 360 diagnostic what your philanthropic interests are, so we can help each other. What I know you're into let's say climate change. All right, let's put you on the. By the way, come up, just.
Oh my God.
You're just.
I was trying to hide over there.
Tanya never lost at pickleball today.
But tomorrow might be another story.
What are your philanthropic interests?
I love kids, so big brothers, big sisters, and then like any chance I have to donate to kids in other countries.
Sarah, you're coming up. Yeah, you're coming up. What are your philanthropic interests?
Well, Sarah Trubridge and everything she's working on. She covers a little bit of everything, and she does things at a very holistic approach. What's great about her organization is that she was in the classroom, a second grade teacher, and has ranged from everything from second grade to PhDs. And with all the partners that she has on all the different fronts, you're in great hands and know she has the specialist working on it.
That's great. Yeah, here.
So when we were setting up Proteus Ocean Group, we really thought very hard about this, studied a lot of the models, Nat Geo, Lush, Newman, and said, how can we benefit from having a philanthropic arm to what we're doing and creating a social enterprise? So we spent some time thinking about it. We're working with a nonprofit lawyer. And so we are set up as a for-profit, but 20% owned by Fabian Cousteau Ocean Learning Center. The idea is, today, ocean scientists have to put in a proposal, wait months to get funding, and we're going through this with our Northeastern partners. They put in an NSF grant of $15 million. It's 10 pages. It's 140 pages, and then we have to wait till September, October to even know if we're going to get that funding. I think that's ridiculous because we don't have 8-9 months to wait when the ocean is in the condition it's in. So the idea is, how can we disrupt ocean science? And the idea would be that you can give to the Fabian Cousteau Ocean Learning Center for the Proteus Ocean Science Fund to fund science. We did it with a small. Our scientists got so excited with $33,000 donation. When NASA and all those scientists are getting so much money. But the idea would be, what if every model in the world had a small piece that was giving back? That would really solve a lot of the planetary problems. So we did that with our organization. And so the question is, stakeholders and engagement, like all companies should have a piece that gives back to philanthropy and the charity of their choice.
I agree. One of the things that we're doing right now as an initiative, and we just met with JP Morgan, is to actually look at, for instance, like the UN does a Hispanic Day, and to be able to actually work with them and to have JP Morgan come in and maybe potentially sponsor that specific day, and coming in the schools, like doing art fair days, so that it's introducing opportunities, because there's so many different creative jobs that people do not know about. And I think that there's a whole opportunity for being able to come in and help to finance those opportunities.
Well, finance, but also those same people want to contribute in a nonprofit way sometimes.
Yes, they do.
Right? And we're just trying to map it. We need to map it. You can say yes. Yeah.
One of the things that I just want to say, when I work with my doctoral students with social change, innovation, culture of abundance, there's a great book called The Opposable Mind by Roger Martin, and it's all about, it's not an either or, it's a both and capitalism and consciousness and social impact do not have to be at the opposite ends of the spectrum. And everything that we do, for instance, at Educating the New Humanity and EdLinks, it is an ecosystem so that it recognizes we can't silo our world anymore. We are one global world, so it's honoring the oneness and resilience of the society that is one. So in everything that everybody up here has said, I just want to say, and to your point, it isn't an either or. And so again, I'd love to talk more about it because it's what I teach to doctoral students. And then I decided I'm going to create something that's a model and a theory of change that walks the talk.
Yeah, I just wanted to, to what you're saying and to what Sarah's saying. Yeah, I mean, I think it should be a requirement. The companies, these companies are sitting on tremendous CSR dollars, and they're just looking for, if they can look good, then they'll write checks, which is bullshit. And so if we kind of flipped it on its head and really kind of made it a requirement where it's not like, okay, so Purdue Pharma blows up the world, and so now they're going to start doing some good stuff to try to gain some social capital. That's not the kind of process that we need to be working on. CVS is a great example. Their whole mission is to fight the opioid crisis. Why? Because they pushed narcotics in 2017 and got in trouble. This is not how you should be convincing them to regain social capital, but it's all we have right now until we can employ what you were saying and be able to say, hey, listen, we got to make this world a better place.
But it's all about enlightenment, because it's in everyone's interest, right? Whether you do it because you got caught.
Well, but here's the thing.
Hopefully you're doing it because it's the right thing.
But I got to say one thing. Nobody wants to touch addiction until I get a phone call from that global CEO whose son can't stop drinking, and then they need me. But they don't care until it affects them, and that's not how it should work. So too many people are not paying attention until it affects them, and that's the very moment then when I get the phone call. It just shouldn't work that way.
I think it comes down to all of us individually as you act, right? I think the consumer is more powerful, unfortunately, than the political voter. We're just in silos, but we need to address these things. And I think society, the next gens are definitely part of that. You want to say something about it?
Thank you so much. I've thought deeply about this, actually, and this is something that myself and my close friends and networks of NextGens have been thinking about. So, yeah. Oh, so we have a round table. We have a round table in Miami on Monday. Myself and other prominent NextGens in the space that we're calling ourselves the Regen NextGens, which is really cute. We like this. And it's because it's really about movement making time. It's really about inspiring. What are the hashtags? What are the movements? What are the slogans? What are the banners that we can all unify under? And so we really like Regen NextGens because we each have individual stories of how we're regenerating and sharing our family legacy with the world and what is ours to do. And for myself, it's going from master locks to mastery keys, from the moonshot to the earth kiss, and additional dear friends who are going to be on the panel are phenomenal. Prince Lorenzo de Medici, Chris Lindstrom, from Oil to Soil, Lorenzo de Medici from the de Medici family that funded the Renaissance, and so we are calling this time the Great Regenaissance, because this is the birth of art and culture and the creator economy that is coming out from this time of COVID, which is the plague, and we're coming out of this time into this new renaissance, and I just came from an art show in Miami celebrating this with some of the leading artists, and it really is the creator economy, and it's also that is fueling the new economy. And
Come join our 361 firm community of investors and thought leaders. We have a lot of events created by the community as we collaborate on investments and philanthropic interests. Join us.